It's ThinkTech. It's ThinkTech Thursday. It's Aloha United We Stand, where we get to interview and rub shoulders with some of the finest human beings in the state, for sure, and the planet, I would say. And that's why I like this show so much. One of my favorite shows, you know.
All right.
Randy Mulch from the Salvation Army. He's a major in the Salvation Army. He and his wife are the pastors in a church called Kauluwela Mission Corps, which is right here downtown.
Right.
In Aloha, yeah.
Aloha Street and Vineyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, just down by Chinatown.
Yeah, it's a social ground zero there.
Some days it is, some days it is, but it's where we need to be.
So tell us what it means to be a major in the Salvation Army these days.
Well, to be a major in the Salvation Army, I'm an ordained pastor, and the Salvation Army actually has our own seminary. We call it Officers Training School, and my wife and I have both attended that quite a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And when you graduate, because it's the Salvation Army, you're given, as you become a pastor, a rank. And so if you meet somebody that's a lieutenant, they're kind of newer and starting out. And then after you've been a lieutenant for some years, for 5 years, then you become a captain. And then some more years and eventually become a major. It just means I've been kind of at this for a little while.
That's what it sounds like,
yeah. Yeah.
I'm very interested in this. We were comparing notes before the show, and you reminded me the Salvation Army was established in 1865, which would have been the end of the Civil War.
Yeah.
Quite something. And of course, the military aspect had to be derived out of the Civil War. We had a lot of military going on during the Civil War,
well,
so
it was
a natural progression.
Yeah, that was a time, not just in the United States, but worldwide, that, there was a lot of growing and struggle, and our Civil War here in the United States and around the world, militaries were really active, and the Salvation Army actually started in London, England.
I remember
and
that.
Then they came over before the 1900s. I don't remember the exact year, but actually came over to the United States as they kind of traveled around the world.
So to the extent that there was a military influence, then it was an English military influence. When
Yes.
England ruled the seas and was the empire of choice.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, and that's why Salvation Army ranks confuse U.S. military, because we're patterned after more kind of British ranks.
But you know what? It seems to me, and I really like your comment, I mean, your thinking on this, it seems to me that the model is now 150 years old.
Yes, 150 years old this year.
Yeah,
this year.
1865.
Yeah.
And it still works. In fact, it works better than maybe more corporate or vaguer type models. It's very simple to understand how the Salvation Army is organized, you know?
I think so. It's kind of natural for me because I kind of grew up around it.
Yeah.
My parents are Salvation Army officers,
All
so
right.
grew up going to Salvation Army Church, and it makes sense for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're a simply organized worldwide movement trying to make a difference in people's lives wherever we meet them, whoever they are.
Are you everywhere?
Not everywhere. We're in 127 countries now. Maybe close to everywhere, but not everywhere yet.
It sounds like it's really getting up there.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Christmas, because when I was a kid growing up in New York, in front of Macy's and Gimbel's and all that, there were always the Kettles and the people in the blue and red outfits with, these hats out of the turn of the 20th century.
Yeah.
And they were very effective. I mean, I don't know how much money they collected, but they were there. They were always there, and they always reminded you that Christmas was a time not to be limited to your own self, not to be limited to your own shopping and all that compulsive behavior that goes around your own shopping, but to actually think of other people when you went shopping.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like you mentioned, we're getting ready to kick all of that off.
Yeah.
This next Monday on the 23rd, we're having the official Hawaii kickoff of the Salvation Army Angel Tree Program and our Red Kettle fundraising for the Christmas season.
Okay, let's unpack that. What's the Angel Tree program? What is that?
The Angel Tree program, simply it's a program where you can go down to the mall here on Oahu or even on some of the neighbor islands, all of the neighbor islands. You can go into the mall and you'll see a Christmas tree there while you're doing your Christmas shopping. And it has an angel tag on it. And that angel tag has the name of maybe a child angel or a senior citizen angel. It has a name, a first name, an age, and their Christmas wish. And you can take the angel, sign it out, go shopping, buy a toy or a rice cooker or a watch or whatever's on the tag, and bring it back as a gift to that person that you haven't even met at Christmas time.
It's like a bridal registry of sorts, you know.
I never thought about it that way, but it kind of is.
What do you want for Christmas? And then you go get him something for Christmas.
Yeah.
Suppose he says he wants a Cadillac for Christmas. What happens then?
You know, we don't do Cadillacs. We usually try to limit the gifts to around $30, $40 maximum, because we understand even people trying to help out are usually working within a budget, and they're not going to buy everybody an iPad or a Cadillac.
Yeah.
But it's a great way to give back, but also for families with children. It's a great way. I see parents using it as an educational moment. A parent will take, for instance, their 10-year-old boy and go look at the angel tree and say, okay, let's find a 10-year-old boy. And you're gonna buy for the 10-year-old boy something that you would like yourself. Or they may look at the thing and say, oh, well, this 10-year-old boy wants a Razor scooter. And so then the 10-year-old boy goes and buys a gift with his parents for another 10-year-old boy.
Sure.
Kind of open their horizons.
Bring him into the family.
Yeah, yeah.
Very nice thought. Just a thought that comes to mind is, you know, so often you see on television around this time of year, these ads for organizations which are trying to save children in various places around the world. Yeah. And you adopt the child essentially by, you know, $5, $10 a month, whatever it is. And you send your money in that presumably goes to that child and makes that child's life a little better. And when I think about it, I think that all these pictures of these really appealing kids, these beautiful kids, everywhere in the third world, they're in the third world. What about here? We have needy people here, and so this is a brilliant idea. We do. You know, to present those faces also.
It is, and that's kind of how the angel tree started out. There were a couple of husband and wife Salvation Army officers that lived on the mainland, and they had 500 children in their community that they needed toys for, and they didn't have funds to get the toys. But they had a box of Hallmark cards with angels on it. So they took the angels from the Hallmark cards and wrote the names on it, and put the cards on the angel at the mall, and it was the birth of the Salvation Army Angel Tree program.
And it's recent?
It's been going about 30, almost 30 years now.
Our lifetime anyway.
Within our lifetime, yeah. I don't remember the exact year.
So the mechanics is, I go into the mall, I buy the Razor scooter or whatever, and then I give it to the Salvation Army with the card, so we know where it's supposed to go. Right,
so then when you bring your angel back to the table, we give you the top part of the angel so you can hang it on your own Christmas tree at home.
Oh, nice touch.
And then we write down the numbers and make sure that gift gets to the person that asked for it.
Yeah.
It's quite a task and takes a lot of volunteers. But
you have to have a clearinghouse, and then you have to actually deliver the toy to the child.
The families come and pick it up. That way the parents can decide if they want the kids to get it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or whatever their family tradition is. And we actually, we're just finishing up the details on working on a warehouse to actually house all of the gifts and process them and get them all packaged and ready to go out.
It's such a good idea. I think you could use it at other times in the year too.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Possibly, possibly.
So do you think that people would say, Randy, pastor as the case may be, I want to meet the kid. I want the kid to have the Razor scooter, but I also want to meet the kid. I want to say hi.
We usually try to keep a little bit of anonymity. It's hard enough sometimes to swallow your pride and come and sign up and ask for help.
Yes.
But we try to retain some of the privacy of the families.
Yes. It would complicate things.
Yeah, so we don't.
You wouldn't be able to predict exactly how people would feel.
So I might not introduce you to Bobby when you buy his angel tree gift.
Yeah. But suppose Bobby now, not the donor, but Bobby the donee, says, you really want to thank these people.
We have had in the past folks that have come and said, I want to say thank you. So they've written a thank you card, and we try to pass it back through the channels to get it to
That's nice. I mean,
yeah,
completes the transaction.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great idea.
You know, it's a wonderful idea, and we love doing it, and we have a lot of people that help us out during the holidays.
So it's starting on Monday in 3 malls.
3 malls, but I also missed Central Pacific Bank is one of our sponsors. So if you can't get to the mall, when you're going to Central Pacific Bank to do your transaction, every branch has a Christmas tree display in their branch, and so you can also pick up an angel tree tag and angel at the bank. They've been a great sponsor for us for several years now.
Okay, so I don't have to actually go straight away to buy the scooter. I can do it at my convenience as long as I get it to you.
As long as you get it
a certain date.
Back, and in our area, I believe it's the 18th of December.
So you have time to deliver it.
Yeah, so it has a date on it so that you can pick up the tag. You have a week or 2, possibly 3 if you pick it up this week, to go get the gift and bring it back so that we have time to process it and get it to the right person.
You know, it's not so much the economics of a deal like that. It's the statement that the community in general, the unnamed, the anonymous, if you will, the anonymous community out there here in Hawaii, cares about this individual and wants to improve his life and it wants to go a step for him. And it's that statement that really makes the difference.
It really is. We can get kind of absorbed in what do I want for Christmas, and
this changes that.
It changes it. You know, instead of what can I get, what can I give? Because giving's the most important part.
This goes back to my appreciation of the the lady with the kettle outside of Macy's and Gimbel's when I was a kid. You know, all the people, going compulsively into Macy's and Gimbel's, buying up a storm,
Right.
I mean, some of it is a gift, but it's all sort of in the family, and it's all sort of a tight group, if you will. But what about strangers, and what about giving to people who are needy, who may, outside your family?
Right.
So that's what the Salvation Army played a really distinct role for me, anyway. To remind us that Christmas, as you say, was more as much, at least, for giving as getting. And wherever you went, you'd be reminded of that by the kettle.
That's right. That's right. The red kettle, the familiar red kettle and the bell, and that's starting up here pretty quick too on Monday on the 23rd. We'll have our red kettles. There's a few out now. But the official kickoff is this Monday, right down at King and Bishop, not far from here. And so we're kicking off both our Angel Tree program and the red kettles. So you'll see the familiar red kettles out in front of Long's and Safeway and Walmart and Kmart, and I'm probably missing somebody. But a lot of both national and local stores. Times is another one. I'm trying to remember them all off the top of my head. But you'll see a lot of national and local companies that have graciously let us.
You want them to let you stand there. You want them You don't drop somebody off with a kettle and say, "Here, stand on the sidewalk."
No. We work with the corporations and the local managers and say, hey, you know, this is something that we'd like you to help us out with during the holidays.
And they usually say
yes.
yes.
Yeah, they usually do. And then there's also some companies that instead of the red kettle, they opt to do something else to help out. For instance, Foodland. Foodland has a program called Share a Holiday Feast. So when you go to Foodland and you're checking out and buying your groceries, there's a display there, and you can take a $5 or a $10 or a $20 card off of there and hand it to the clerk and say, I'd like to donate money to help the Salvation Army and Foodland to share a holiday feast. So that's another reminder about giving back.
Yeah.
You
really do personify that thought.
Yeah.
Let me take a short break, Randy.
Okay.
We're going to take a short break now. That's Randy Mulch. He's a major in the Salvation Army. And we're here on Aloha United We Stand, because Aloha United Way also helps you out, gives you some money so you can operate and make these kids happier and people in general.
That's true, and that's a whole nother discussion.
Well, let's talk about it after
yeah, well, when we get back, we'll chat a little bit about that.
Aloha, I'm Kili'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to ThinkTech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the ThinkTech Hawaii Broadcast Network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Randy Mulch of the Salvation Army. He's a major. And we're talking about, well, first we were talking about the angel tree, which really fascinates me. And we didn't mention that Burger King is also involved in that program. How does that work?
That's right. Well, Aloha United Way and Burger King have partnered to help support the Salvation Army's work at the holidays. So another way that you can give back is when you're at Burger King, maybe you're buying your lunch or your dinner, you can actually make a donation at Burger King. They're one of our partners for the Angel Tree program. And we just really appreciate their support along with Aloha United Way, just to help our neighbors out. There's a lot of ways to help out, a lot of ways to give back. Yeah.
It's really, Hawaii is a very charitable place, I think. Although, you know, there are charities everywhere. And people are charitable everywhere. And maybe in a more complex world, you know, you recognize your own mortality, your own economic mortality, you know, the risk of economic problems, as we've seen in Europe. And then, you know, it makes you interested in giving.
Right.
And I'm always interested in sort of seeing how that goes. I mean, for example, in terms of a trend, and you talk about the day after Thanksgiving. I remember when I was a kid that people said, the day after Thanksgiving, Mike, it's a month away from Christmas. How come so early? You know, and we've seen it trend. I mean, and in fact, there are already Christmas ads, you know, in one place or another. Merchants are trying to sell stuff.
Right.
So it creeps, you know, soon it'll be at the 4th of July. But have you seen that? I mean, have you moved your date of programs earlier in the year because the general trend is to move these programs earlier?
Some of our things have kind of followed that trend. We have our red kettles out, even though our official kickoff is the 23rd. Along with some of the retailers, we kind of recognize that people are in that mindset and kind of getting in Christmas mode. So some of our kettles do start a little bit earlier than they did in the past.
It goes for the proposition that you're better off if you celebrate Christmas all year long. Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. We have a slogan in the Salvation Army that says "Need knows no season." And
you have
so
it.
we're helping people all year round. You
Yeah.
see us a lot at Christmas.
Yeah.
But
So let's talk about the kettles,
Okay.
okay? How does that work? You know, in the old days, it would be just pennies in the kettle, but
Yeah.
I don't think pennies go very far these days. So you must be trying to encourage people to give $5, $10, what have you.
oh yeah, we encourage pennies, nickels, and dimes, but we also encourage the $5, the 10, the 20, the 50. You know, if you want to drop a couple $100 in the kettle, we
People
won't.
do that.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we get a few $100 bills.
Yeah.
As we say sometimes, this and better will do. But
Now,
yeah,
the people who are out on the street with the kettles, they're volunteers.
some are volunteers,
Mm-hmm.
but some are also people that are kind of on a limited income and need a job at Christmas during the
So you
holidays.
just pay 'em
So
to
we
be-
pay them a small amount, a little bit more than minimum wage.
Uh-huh.
And so some are paid, some are volunteers. It's kind of a mixture of both. If you get it out there at the right place at the right time, you might catch me ringing a bell. But it's a very visible way to give back. And that's like with our Red Kettle kickoff and Angel Tree kickoff this next Monday. Will be real visible. You go down to King and Bishop, and you're going to see, like, on all four corners of the intersection, actually some of our bank partners are adopting a kettle and out helping us ring the bell and raise money from some of our friends.
So you're also getting money from the Aloha United Way, right? I mean,
Right.
and that's not through the kettle. That's, in other words, you have contributions coming to you from charitable organizations like
Right.
Aloha United Way as
Right.
well, not necessarily through the street corner.
That's correct. United Way does fund some Salvation Army programs, but also the United Way, they do their annual campaigns, and it's a great way to give back to charities in general.
Yes.
But also, if you're at a workplace and they're doing their United Way campaign, you can say, hey, you know what? I'd really love to give my gift, and I want to direct it to the Salvation Army or another organization.
Yeah. Well, why should they, this is a setup question, but
Oh, great.
softball. Why should they direct it to the Salvation Army?
You know, I'm biased, obviously, but I don't know any organization that gives back as much and does as much good as the Salvation Army does. We try to keep, financially, we try to keep our administrative costs low. We try to reach out to as many people as we can, and especially try to reach out to some of the people that are slipping through the cracks, and not getting help from here or there.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
That's an interesting point. I mean, you know, because as part of this series here on Thursdays at noon, we talked to a lot of beneficiaries of Aloha United Way.
Right.
And there must be hundreds of them out there altogether.
Yeah, probably
And
thousands, not
thousands.
hundreds.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, they cover a lot of ground. They cover people who are in trouble about this and that, the other thing. And furthermore, I'd like to talk to you more about this, is that, you know, it seems to be dynamic. In other words, the community ain't getting better about handling people who are disadvantaged. Those people seem to be increasing,
Right.
particularly the homeless and all. But there are gaps, hundreds of these, thousands of these charitable organizations, but there are still gaps. And you see the Salvation Army as covering those gaps. Nothing gets through. And
We try.
We try. I
We
know
try.
it's impossible
We
to
try.
do them all.
We try.
But I really appreciate that, the notion of handling the ones that nobody else has handled. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're trying to do that. Our mission, because we're a Christian organization, is twofold: to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ and to meet human needs in his name without discrimination. And there are people all around the world that need some help, some encouragement, kind of a hand up. And so that's the business that we're in, if you will.
Yeah, and you're doing it, and I had this conversation last time we had the Salvation Army on the program, and you're doing this not necessarily as, because, well, you're involved from a religious point of view.
Right.
That's your special sauce.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that a lot of these other charities out there have to be religious in orientation.
That's right.
They all have to have a special sauce.
Yeah.
They all have to be, you know, directed at solving some ill and relating to people in some way to have people trust them,
right,
and to do good work. But yours happens to be religion.
That's right. That's right.
It's very interesting the way that works. So I want to talk about the community in general.
Okay.
I want to talk about what's happening out here. And you've been following it. You didn't get to be a major overnight, so you've been following it for a long time.
Right.
And I wonder if you could comment to me on the trending in the Hawaii community. Where have you seen it go? Where is it going now in terms of disadvantaged people who need help?
Well, obviously one of the biggest trends in Hawaii right now, when we look at disadvantaged people and what's going on in the community, we see homeless people everywhere. It's in the media a lot. And as far as the Salvation Army, we're trying to take a few of those individuals at a time. We can't fix it all ourselves all at once overnight. But we've started a new initiative. It's not really a new program, but it's a new initiative that we've started to reach out to the people that we're already reaching out to. It's called Pathway of Hope. And it's an initiative to help people holistically, to help them if they need housing, to help with them in their search for housing and direct them where they need direction to get into housing. If they need addiction treatment, to maybe even before housing, get them into one of our addiction treatment centers and say, you know what, let's work on the addiction and get you kind of stable, and then we'll help work on housing.
Treatment center is a special facility, a house, a residential place operated by the Salvation Army?
The Salvation Army actually has more residential drug and alcohol treatment beds than anybody in the state. On this island, we have 3 residential treatment centers. So if you've got a problem with drug or alcohol addictions, you can come see us, and we'll do our best to get you into one of our programs.
Free?
Free.
For me? Yeah.
Free.
And you'll take me as long as it takes until we get to a certain point, you and me, where you believe that I'm okay.
Right. It's basically one of the programs that I'm thinking of right now is basically it's a 6-month program. So if you said, you know what, I've kind of crashed and burned and I need drug treatment, we could get you into the program and help to get you clean of drugs, and work with you on getting all the other life skills, meeting with counselors, getting back into good work habits.
Cleaning me up.
Cleaning you up.
Yeah.
And then the next phase of the program after the initial 6 months is going out and looking for work. And then when you get a job and start getting a paycheck, then trying to help you find a place to live if you don't have housing.
So my question earlier was, what trend do you see over your career from lieutenant to captain?
Oh, lieutenant to captain to major. One of the I think some of the social services and charitable groups these days are kind of going a little bit more grassroots. I think it goes in cycles. When the economy is great and nationally we're all happy and things are lucrative, we get kind of self-reliant and start forgetting about one another. But when times get tough, when bad things happen, when there's a national crisis, they're bad things, but they tend to pull us back together and start relying on one another more and starting to say, you know, what are our real values here, and helping our neighbors. I guess that's kind of a silver lining of when bad things happen.
When it gets bad, is it worse now than it used to be, or maybe not as bad?
I'm not sure.
We'll take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, you know, I'd like to talk about the whole follow-up issue about this, because you're talking about trying to help people from step 1 to step 2, step 3,
Yeah.
and cleaning them up in many ways.
Yeah.
And so you know, what comes to my mind, I was trained in law, is a file with someone's name on it, where you list all the problems and all the solutions. When we come back, I'd like to know how you do that. It's Randy Mulch, the Salvation Army, a major, right here downtown. He's in the Kauluwela Mission Corps Church,
Right.
not too far away from here. Here on Aloha United we stand. We're talking about, let me think, we're talking about angel trees and red kettles and other things for Christmas.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Thanks.
Aloha, this is Reg Baker and I am the host of Business in Hawaii. We talk about positive stories of businesses in Hawaii, how they have been successful,
What
and
is
how
that?
they have
Sorry, you're
overcome
playing something on
some of
the...
the obstacles that a lot of us encounter when we try to have a business here.
One of the other
And
things.
believe it or not, there are a number of positive stories here, and we want to talk to all of you. So we broadcast live every Thursday at 2 o'clock, and it rebroadcasts again on Olelo Channel 54. So I sure hope to see you next time. Please tune in on Thursdays at 2 o'clock. Thank you.
Aloha! How you doing? It's me, Angus McTech, wishing you to welcome and join us to see us on Hibachi Talk on ThinkTech Hawaii. Join my co-hosts, Gordo the Tech Czar and Andrew the Security Guy, every Friday from 1300 to 1345. We look forward to seeing you. We'll talk tech and we'll have some wee bit of fun. And remember, let your wing gang free wherever you be. Aloha!
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Randy Mulch of the Salvation Army, talking about Christmas. Christmas, at least starting now, but really all year round.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just wondering how you follow up on the people that you talk with. So I come to you, I say I need to be cleaned up. I'm having a terrible time. And then we break that down. There's many little things that have to be done to get me straight again.
Right.
So how does that work? How's the input work? How's the record keeping work? How's the steps of progress work?
Right. Well, I mentioned a little bit earlier the kind of a new initiative that we've kind of focused on here in Hawaii called Pathway of Hope. Mm-hmm. And when someone's life kind of gets in that crisis mode and things have kind of fallen apart, some of the things, the basic things that really are needed as people kind of get their lives back together, they need to have a safe, decent, clean place to live. They need to have productive work that they can do so that they're feeling productive, getting a paycheck, all of those sorts of things. And they need a community around them to support them. So as
May I say amen?
you may say amen. Amen's a good thing. For instance, somebody that we've worked with, and maybe they've come through one of our drug and alcohol treatment programs, with Pathway of Hope, instead of just saying, congratulations, you completed the program, go out there and you're on your own. We do have some caseworkers, and we say to them, would you like a caseworker to come alongside you and you can check in with them once in a while, and you know,
It's a social
talk.
worker,
Yeah,
social worker.
yeah, social worker, and talk about, you know, how are things going. If you need a little bit of direction on finding housing, or you realize you started hanging out with the same friends that you used to hang out with, because we are who we are, we really recommend that if you're looking for a new community that's not going to drag you down into a place where you were before, maybe you ought to go to church. You can find people there who will care about you, people there that'll talk with you about giving back to the community and being a productive part of the community and not just worrying about yourself.
So you take him in this pathway to hope
Yeah.
for as long as it takes.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, and if he wants to make his life over that, that's fine.
yeah,
And he could always come down on Sunday or whatever
Yeah.
and say hi to you, and you'll always be tolerant of him and patient. I can see that from
Yeah.
this discussion. You're a kind of person, and maybe this is the ethic of the Salvation Army, maybe it's just you, but who cares about everyone, who tolerates everyone, who doesn't pass judgment on anybody who's failed. You know?
you know, sometimes people get in bad situations in life, sometimes just because of circumstances, sometimes because they've made bad decisions.
Which any of us could do.
Yeah, I won't ask you about your bad decisions. We've all made them, but we've all done things that maybe we shouldn't, or you know, made a bad decision and had to pay for it in some way or another. So we wanna build people up, lift people up, meet people kind of where they are and help them to grow and improve. And
The other thing I get out of this, Randy, is you know, gee, we talk so much about the homeless.
yeah,
I mean, and you know, to your credit, you respond to the need.
Right.
So if it's that we have 15,000 homeless in Oahu, I don't know what the real number is. Nobody does.
yeah,
But if we have 15,000 homeless in Oahu, then we address that. Not only Salvation Army, but other organizations. They
Right.
rise to that need.
right,
They're sensitive to the fact that there are now way more homeless, and so we need to put more resources in that and
Right.
think more about how to handle it. But, you know, even if there were no homeless at all, not one homeless in all of Oahu, we'd still have a lot of social problems, wouldn't we? We forget that sometimes. It's not just the homeless.
no, I mean, there are all kinds of social problems, and we could go down the list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I just wonder from your point of view, the point of view of somebody who does what you do, another charity, for example, the homeless is so compelling
Yeah,
because they're out there.
It's real.
And you
it's,
feel the pain.
It's real visible.
Yeah,
yeah.
visible.
Yeah.
But doesn't it make you forget about the others sometimes? As a priority?
It can, when you because you see the news or you're driving down the street. Homelessness is very visible in our community these days, but there are social ills, if you will, people hurting with problems that are behind the closed doors of their homes.
Right.
And so we...
Who can fall down that slope so easily? And
Oh, yeah.
sometimes you don't even know it until it's too late.
Well, and a lot of people, because finances are the way they are, a lot of people are only a paycheck or two away from homelessness.
Yeah. So, I mean, do you ever think about getting to the root cause? I mean, for example, if I told you that land here in Oahu, I mean, this is not what you were trained for, but not what you went to seminary for.
We're getting into real estate
Yeah.
now.
Okay, but see, there's got to be a distinction between the root cause people, who maybe that's government, and the charitable people who try to get contributions at Christmas and handle the people in the street. But if I told you, wait a minute, it's all about land being too expensive. That's why they're homeless, because they can't make enough money in their jobs to pay the rent the landlord wants. It's a disconnect. It's just an arithmetic issue.
Well, initially, I'm going to say there's homeless people where land is cheap, too.
Yeah, okay, touche.
There's not always one cause of homelessness. Homelessness usually isn't the root of the problem. There are people who have addictions that have ended up homeless. There are people that have overextended themselves financially and become homeless. There are people with mental disease that have ended up homeless. There are people whose house got sold by the owner and had to move out and weren't prepared for that, and they ended up homeless. So homelessness isn't really the root of the issue.
It's coping.
Yeah.
They were unable to cope
Right.
with the slings and arrows
Right.
of outrageous misfortune.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure what always. I mean, for each individual, the cause of their homelessness
the
is going to
same.
be different, and
Yeah.
we just need to work with the individuals.
Yeah. Well, here we are at
Yeah.
Christmas, and you know, somehow it's more touching, more compelling. I mean, I feel my own emotional reaction to what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm concerned about it, and it touches me, and Christmas touches me. But doesn't Christmas touch you too? Because at Christmas you see more pathos than you would see, for example, in the ordinary course. I'm guessing this.
Yeah.
And it must touch you. How do you react as a pastor, a man of faith? How do you react to this kind of high compression between the day after Thanksgiving and Christmas or New Year's?
You know, we intentionally reach out to to as many of the people in the community as we can. How does it affect me, and how do I deal with it as a pastor? My hours are longer during the holiday season, but we also bring a lot of people around us to volunteer, to help out, to lend a hand.
Yeah, what I hear you
Yeah.
saying is my job. That's what I do.
Well, yeah.
You know,
Kind of.
and Christmas is a special time, so I work overtime. That's why.
Oh, and yeah, I mean that kind of is it. But I love Christmas, mostly because of my faith.
Yeah.
Christmas is a very Christian holiday, and it's just a time to join people together and remind everybody about giving back and helping out and just being part of the community.
Last question.
Okay.
Here we are, well, very nearly at the end of our time. How is this Christmas? We're going into it now. It's a few days away when these programs start,
Right.
and we'll be putting our attention on making them work. How is this Christmas different, do you think? If it is, it may not be, but how is it different if it is from other Christmases up to now?
This Christmas, I think one of the things that has kind of struck me this year at Christmas, not too long ago in the news here in Honolulu, it was said that our unemployment is the lowest it's been since, I think, 2008. But there's still people in need.
Yeah.
And so that's really struck me at Christmas this year. Just that there are always people that need help, that need encouragement, that need a hand up. And it's easy to say, oh, you know what, the economy's great, I don't have to worry about helping my neighbor. But even with everybody, or nearly everybody unemployed, I think they said 3.5% unemployment or something like that.
Yeah, it's low.
There's still people in need. And so it just reminds me, I think this year, to be consistent, to keep going.
You've got to be
and
out there for them. There's
just,
still.
you know what, yeah, just, we need to remember that there's always a neighbor in need. always things that we can do in our community to make it better and draw each other together and help each other out. I think that's kind of, for me, that's the thing that's been in my mind this Christmas and maybe makes this one stand out.
Thank you, Randy Mulch. Happy Christmas, Randy Mulch.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me here today.
Great to spend the time with you.
All right, thank
Aloha.
you. Aloha.